The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The Calling.
And good evening, everyone. It's another beautifully, horribly cold day in New Brighton, Minnesota. And welcome to The Calling. And let's see now, who do we got here? We got Kimberly. How are you?
Good, Jerry. I'm doing good.
Just good? Not fantastic?
Yeah. No. It's kind of windy and chilly.
I know you were having problems with your internet. Was it because of the because of the weather?
Yeah, the winds are really bad here. Very bad. So
gotcha.
I might be just going in and out. Just warning you. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. And Willow, how we doing?
I am fantastic.
Excellent. Fantastic. Why?
Because the weather's gorgeous. We don't have humidity right now.
Oh, that's right. You just got the little lizards running around eating bugs. You've never even thought of trying one?
No, Jerry. I like the lizards. They're my friends. You don't eat your friends. You don't eat your friends, Jerry.
They're small enough you could use like a lighter.
Oh my gosh.
What? That's not good?
No, the show is going very dark right now.
Oh gosh.
It's early.
Wow, Cece says it's 82 degrees at the moment, and that's California.
It's
nice.
It's in the 70s, upper 70s here.
Wow. See, that's perfect weather for me. You know, that's perfect. Anyway, so tonight we are bringing on three, count them three, 1, 2, 3, or Ichinan Shi, I think it is. Three of the SquatchHERs. So we have, of course, we have, where are you at? There you are, Josie from the SquatchHERs. And we've got Carrie from the SquatchHERs. And we have their fearless leader who can't go 10 minutes without a coffee, Stephanie. And so how are you ladies? All three of you are doing good?
Doing good.
All things considered, pretty good.
Good. Steph, you're kind of looking down. What'd you do, break some? Are you on your phone? While you're on the show, you're on your phone.
No.
You were texting. Yes, she was. Wow, we got her concentrating, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, well, we got 4 SquatchHERs here. And then there's Willow and I who just dream about walking around in the woods, getting ticks and mosquito bites. You know, that's always fun that way. But anyway, so, you know, one of the things, it's kind of interesting is that going from what Steph, you did, which was a paranormal investigator, and Josie, what you are also too, you're with, what's the name of the team that you're with?
Arrowhead Paranormal.
And how long have you been doing that for?
Couple years now, so we're still fairly new.
Okay. Oh, really? Only for a couple years?
Well, it started with me and a friend of mine because we had been talking about making our own team for years and years and years. Well, we finally buckled down in 2018 and actually put together the group. It's like, hey, we've been talking about doing this for how many years now? Why don't we just finally bite the bullet and actually put a group together?
Okay. And then, so did on your team, do you guys look for Sasquatch?
Not particularly, but we're open to looking into just about anything that falls under the paranormal umbrella. Okay. Mostly we focus on hauntings and ghosts, and is our primary focus for our group. But, we're not going to exclude anything else that may be reported or people take to us with.
Okay, which one's more your favorite, Bigfoot or the paranormal?
That's really hard to say because I've just kind of loved all of it. I was that weird kid that was just into everything when I was little.
Okay.
I mean, my favorite show growing up was watching Unsolved Mysteries and that sort of stuff. So, if that gives you any idea.
Gotcha. Okay, and hold on. We got Carrie. Carrie, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. You were lost there for a moment. We're like, Carrie, we're over here. And you're like, yeah, I'm here. So now you were just a regular person. And what drew you into the cryptid world to become a squatcher?
Well, I've always been into Bigfoot ever since I was a little girl. And I was watching YouTube and I saw Stephanie and the girls and I said, boy, I would love to be a part of that. And It was the right decision.
Excellent. So you reached out to them?
Yes, I did. I think I texted Stephanie, didn't I, Stephanie, or I emailed you?
Mm-hmm. You did.
Gotcha.
You did.
And I know that. I think every member that's on the team is taller than Steph, and that's what she was looking for.
Yeah.
Anything. So, yeah, if you're taller than me, you're in. It's plain and simple. Right, Steph?
Well, actually, Cindy is 3 inches shorter than me, so I'm just saying.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, there's... Yeah. But she's got a gun, so she was going to shoot you.
She's got a couple of guns she had out in the field last time, so we're safe.
And I think one of those machetes.
She was
Ramba. She's a Ramba instead of Rambo.
Oh, yeah. They're Rambo. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, Carrie, now what does your friends and family think of what you do? Were they shocked when you said that you're part of SquatchHERs?
Yes.
Yep.
I got a lot of BS for that, but they're used to it now, and now my friends are just into it, and I love it. They know it makes me happy being out in the woods, and it's just something I love to do and want to keep doing, and I mean it's been proven hundreds of times over and over. I just hope we can run into them one day.
Excellent. Kimmy, you got them.
So when was your guys' last event? When was it? I think it was the 24th of, right?
Well, the three of us, so Carrie and Josie and I and Katie, were up at the end of August. We were up north, and then last month it was Cindy and Katie and I.
Oh, okay.
We were up there. Yeah.
So these, you guys have already done a couple of them, right? Already done a couple of I keep wanting to say investigations.
Expeditions.
Expeditions.
Name different.
Yeah.
So did you guys have any experiences then? Any of you girls? How did you guys like it? Let's start with Carrie first.
Loved it. And yeah, we've had some I don't know the word I'm looking for, some experiences. Lots of structures. Stephanie's more into she can really feel energy. I don't do that so much, but a couple times I even felt it. We've really found some neat structures though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Josie?
Wow.
Yeah, the last time I was with the group on one of the expeditions, when we were in that one area where we were just finding structure after structure after structure, like Stephanie, I'm also semi-sensitive to energies, and it was just weird in that.
Okay,
and
Willow.
you just had this weird feeling walking through there. And then when we went out at night, right, this one was more me because the other gals didn't really notice it as much. All right, because we're out in the middle of nowhere. So there's no lights, no nothing. It's a new moon, so you don't even have that. And we're on this back forest road, and we stopped to, explore for Bigfoot, see what we can find. And I'm looking up at the sky.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, hold on. We're going to get to that. We want to get the basic going here first. Don't go to that yet.
I guess we're not going to get to the punchline yet, Josie.
No, not the punchline yet.
No, that was more one of the weirder things, but for the actual Sasquatch stuff, it's just weird walking through some of those stick structures and whatnot. It's just kind of trippy how you'll be fine in one area, you walk into an area where all these structures are, and it's just like, okay, why do I suddenly feel like I have vertigo?
Right.
That's fine 3 feet ago.
Right. Yep, I totally understand that. Go ahead, Willow.
So talking about that, so do you feel like there's more like a vortex in those areas, that maybe that's why there's maybe more Bigfoot sightings because of those vortex energies? Anybody?
Well, we have definitely run into areas in the woods that I feel are portals. So vortex portals, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
Usually those are under, what we've found anyway, is they're under the arches or the tree bows is what we call them. And, I've been told by Native Americans you need to ask for permission to go through those arches. I don't often ask. I guess I need to start doing that. But you do feel a crazy amount of energy when you're there. It makes it makes my heart palpitate. And I know the other girls feel other things. Josie, I think you felt some things in those structures that we found where there was structure after structure after structure. And it was trippy. That was a great word for that whole area, because it was trippy for sure that day. So, and Josie's very sensitive to energies and very intuitive as well. So she's another good, I always say, Josie, what do you think?
Well, like that one where there was that weird mound under everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Last time we were up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just one after the other. And, I was talking to one of the other researchers up there, and he asked me where it was, and he's an elder of the tribe. So I felt like I could tell him where it was, because we were on the reservation. And right away he said, well, that whole area there stuff is very hot for Bigfoot, so we were on the right path. I'm telling you, that is just a phenomenal spot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've not experienced it yet. I'm hoping one day to actually get out of New Orleans and actually get to
you need
the
to
woods.
come on up and come out with us, Willow. Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, next year is my year of travel, so hopefully,
come to Minnesota. Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Okay, so when it comes to going out there and everything, I mean, like, Carrie, aren't you afraid of, like, because in the northern woods I'm from, who's got their phone going off like that? I'm gonna strangle someone.
That might have been me. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Knock it off. No. So, Carrie, when you're out there and everything, don't you get kind of worried? Because I'm from Bemidji, Minnesota. We grew up in the woods. We've had bear chase us. We've had deer actually stand off to us, where we just hurry up and got on our motorcycles and, got out of there as fast as possible and everything else when we were kids. Aren't you kind of worried that even though, like, what's her name, Cindy carries a gun and stuff, I mean, to kind of, just in case, if she's not there, I mean, do you guys have a plan on what you guys are going to do if something does decide it wants to investigate you?
Yeah, well, that bat and Cindy just got some bear spray too. But yeah, you're right about wildlife. I'm more worried about wildlife and people than I am Sasquatch. So,
right. Yeah, people is one of the big things, because there's still a lot of people living out there in the woods and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm more worried about people than anything. But we really haven't had an issue yet, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't stress over it too much.
Well, Josie carries a pretty big knife too, so we're safe when Josie's there too.
Well, I mean, you guys just seen what happened on the news here, right?
Right.
Or no, it wasn't here. Where was it at? Was it California or Colorado, where some dude was going out in the woods?
I thought it was Utah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Utah. I think you're right. It was Utah. Yeah, and a cougar decided to follow him. And he's like, go back to your babies, and it kept following him. And the big thing for him, which he did right, is to think that you're bigger than them. So waving your arms and stuff like that. And I think he picked up a rock or something at one point and threw it, and it kind of scared it off and everything. But those things can be like that. I mean, even though cougars usually attack from up above, tree, big rock or anything like that, they can also come at you, especially now if their babies are around and stuff,
Well, I didn't watch the video. This is Stephanie. Karen is saying that she watched it and the cougar did not follow him, that it was trying to get him to back off. And then,
right.
If it had wanted to attack, he wouldn't be alive to film it. And that is oh so true. So I don't believe that cougar was following him. I believe what Karen believes too. I didn't see the video, but I know enough about cougars to know that. And I know that when we're out in the woods, because we have found cougar poop, and so we know they're out there. And so we do look up a lot because, there's all kinds of things out there that can hurt us. But I'm not so sure that cougars, they're like wolves. They're not just going to hurt us, I don't think.
No, and I never said that either.
I'm more worried about humans than any animals.
Right. And I never said that they're going to be out there to try to kill you. But I'm saying is that on this thing, even though some people may not believe that the cougar was not following him, if he's walking away and the cougar keeps following him, that's following him. That's a gesture of possible harm, and that is a fact. We had a bear do the same thing to us once, though yet we had a bear in the tree talking place that we were at that actually just walked past us with its babies, didn't do nothing. But I believe that we are in a totally different realm, if you want to. I just remember my grandfather wasn't scared. I was. I was scared big time. But anyway, let's see now. And Ceiling Cat's even saying we had mountain lions and cougars out here stalking joggers. One even tried to grab a kid's lunch. Well, sardine sandwich, I bet you was in there. But so yeah, it can happen with animals. I mean, they're very, very unpredictable. And when you girls are out there in the woods and stuff like that, when Cindy's not with, I kind of get worried about that. So you need to get a bigger knife, Josie. Go ahead.
What, a
It's
machete's
pretty
not
big.
big enough?
It's
Well,
pretty big.
this is a question just for Stephanie. Before we never carried anything, and now
No.
we're carrying weapons. I didn't know
I-
we did that at that point.
I don't.
Because in the beginning,
You know what? That it is not something I do, and I know that I've talked to different people about it. If they feel comfortable carrying, I mean, they can. It's not something I condone. I would never carry a gun. I think a knife is a different story. That's not, but, I don't think Bigfoot knows what a gun is anyway. You know what I'm saying? And it's really not to protect us against Bigfoot. It's to protect us against other humans, as far as I'm concerned. And if a bear would come at us or a cougar, you shoot up in the air and it will pretty much scare them away. It's not like we're going to be out there killing any animals.
And it's better.
Yeah.
And
it's awful funny when you were saying that animals really don't know what guns are. I mean, you said Bigfoot and stuff like that. If an animal, Bigfoot, bear, anything like that, gets shot at enough time, if they see the reaction of something being picked up, even dogs and cats even do the same thing. They will know that something is up with that.
Well, I know that you girls went up to what was it, more of the northern, and I heard a man who usually goes up north and always hiking and always they found his body totally ripped to shreds. So yeah, it's up. I'm not kidding. It happened this year, and he always goes up north, and I'm pretty sure it's Minnesota, and he was ripped to shreds, and even part of his body was probably eaten, but they say it's bear, apparently. So sometimes you have to be really careful, especially up north. What was it that you guys went? You went on an expedition, Stephanie, and that's where the boundary waters are at?
Yeah. Up in Birchdale.
The borderland.
There you go. It was up a little higher, though. He was up higher. So, they did find him. And go ahead.
Josie lived up there, so she knows. Yeah.
So it was up there. I'll have to share it with you later, Jerry, but it was on Facebook, apparently.
Wow.
So, yeah, they can.
I know it can happen. Bill Larrabee, as a matter of fact, a friend of mine, and I know, Steffi, you know who Bill is. He's always going on, what does he call them? Sabbaticals. And he's always got his canoe and he goes. And he's had quite a few experiences with bear, cougar. What's another thing, too? Oh, a rattlesnake actually crawled into his sleeping bag, and that was up in the boundary waters.
Yeah, they're finding rattlesnakes now, too.
We're never staying in a tent again, Steph.
Well, no, it's funny is that I remember people telling me there was, and at one time I gave Bill a ride to St. Croix Falls, and as we're pulling in to the parking area where he was going to take his canoe and all of his gear and stuff like that, and he was going to go, and I looked down and I go, Bill, what is that? And he goes, that's a rattlesnake. I go, oh my God, how long is that? He said, it's about a 6-footer. And I said, are you sure it's dead? He goes, yep. And then he goes over there, grabs its tail and pulls it off and just starts shaking it. He goes, do you want it as a souvenir? I said, no, I don't want it as a souvenir. I said, that's the animal's spirit, and you just took it. So it means others are going to try to find it. And then that's when he had, rattlesnake in his, because he just camps out, starts a fire and just lays out on the ground.
There's a lot of people.
And then woke up to something slimy, Yeah. Hello. Ain't going to happen to me. I don't even like to put worms on the hook. Did I say that out loud? I was joking on that, guys. Okay,
right.
Willow, go for it. You got him, Willow.
So but you guys always go in a group, right? You're not going up there by yourself. And I think there's safety in numbers, no matter what you're doing, whether you're hunting ghosts or hunting Bigfoot, as long as you have, a group, more than one person, I think you're safe. But do you ever go out by yourself?
No.
That's the question.
No.
Right.
Never.
Okay.
There's always at least two of us. And many times there are just a couple of us. Sometimes there's three of us. Sometimes there's four of us. Sometimes there's five of us. But never alone. Never alone. That is a supreme rule of the group, and it's never broken.
Good.
That rule.
Good. Yeah.
Right. That's good.
So, and that's something I think that everybody needs to know out there if they want to go and do their own expedition. Don't go alone.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's
Right.
absolutely true.
Exactly. Now, I thought I seen a question from Steve B. And gosh, Steve, you don't have a question in there. What is up with that? You always have a question. But Kat did put a very interesting thing on here due to the frequency of human bear encounters. The BC Fish and Wildlife Branch is advising hikers, hunters, fishermen, and other persons to use out of doors in a recreational work-related function to take extra precautions. And that's true. Bells will even save your life.
Mm-hmm. We make a lot of noise. Listen, we make a lot of noise when we're in the woods.
Right. And Karen's even saying grizzly bear feces has bells in it and smells like pepper. It's also, too, that's where some of the Native Americans actually got some of their kinnikinnick from. Bearberry is one that they would actually dig in, wash off, dry out, and stuff like that, and use that as part of the kinnikinnick. Yeah, that's kind of gross, but I don't know. It's like, hey, this stuff tastes like crap. It's a joke, Jerry. You have to read the whole thing. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I just glanced at it. Okay. Yeah, you're just so funny, Kat. Yeah, applaud, Karen. Okay, so now throughout all we're talking about and stuff, Carrie, doesn't that make you just a little bit more cautious, you think you need to be? Or is stuff like the loud thing that you don't have to worry about anything being around?
Oh, the snake freaks me out more than anything. That freaks me out. I'm more scared of that than any bear or cougar. I'll tell you that. That's, oh.
Yeah, you got to watch out for. There's actually a couple of venomous snakes, because those are timber rattlers that are up there.
Okay, I have to go now, Jerry. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, I won't talk about
Don't talk about this anymore. She won't come out with us anymore.
Yeah,
My
I
God.
will say there's one less person on our team now.
Right.
I won't sleep. Ish.
The die-hard camper, we always have to stay in a tent, so now she'll be saying, let's get a room.
Yeah.
Well, in some of those hotels up there and stuff, they've been finding these spiders that are a lot like
Jerry.
widow. What? Okay.
You want to live to see tomorrow?
I was only kidding about that. Okay, so I'll tell you what, we got 2 minutes before commercial, but making noise, okay, let's go back to what Karen's saying. However, making noise does alert wildlife and Bigfoot that you are coming, giving them time to disappear, and that is definitely true. So that's why usually just being very, very quiet, and I'm not even going to say that, Karen, and that it's... being very quiet to be able to see some of the animals around. But there always should be one person designated as the lookout. Everybody else can look for evidence, because I've seen some of you ladies in the woods, Steph, Carrie, I've seen you in the woods where you guys, when you look everywhere except for where you're walking. And that's one thing you really need to do, is to watch where you're going, especially in muck holes, right, Steph?
Yes.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
This is where I come in.
Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to commercial. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. So sit tight, everybody. We've got more to the story of the SquatchHERs.
Demons, vampires, werewolves, skinwalkers. All of this and more. Sunday nights at midnight on the Staring Into the Abyss radio show. Come, get lost with us.
Era X Radio.
Those geek ladies, Sean and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal, are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Para X. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
You've no doubt heard of Tango and Cash, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Perhaps it takes two to tango. Well, now, on the first and third Thursdays of each month, there's a show called Tango and Friends at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Para X Radio Network with your host, Bruce Tango. And yes, there will be at least two to tango on each episode, sometimes even more. There's going to be lots of topics and lots of guests you'll all know and lots of surprises. Tango and Friends every first and third Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. right here on the Para X Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Gathering Radio Show. This is Stephanie.
This is The Calling. It's not The Gathering.
I had to do it because you guys weren't jumping in.
Not a problem. So if you're listening to the show or you just jumped on and you're like, what happened in the first half? Well, I'll tell you what. If you wait till tomorrow around 4 o'clock or so, we will have the show in its entirety put up on our website, www.thecallingradioshow.com. We'll also have it up on our YouTube channel, The Calling Radio Show. And there is more shows that are just delicious that's on Para X. There's The Gathering, which is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And Stephanie and Heidi sit around just kind of talking, I guess, having a good old time. Last night they had a woman by the name of Jezebel on. Interesting. And she was a voodoo priestess, I do believe. That was a friend of Willow's, and they had a great time. And there's, right after our show, stick around because you have Geeks Paranormal. The ladies sit around. They drink all sorts of wine. They have all sorts of fun. I'm kidding. No, they got a great show. So check that out, too. Okay, so Willow, you didn't get a chance to talk very much, so let's go with Willow.
Oh, great. Now you just put me on the spot, Jerry.
Yep.
You have all the great questions. Now I got to think of one. All right. So I'm just going to ask, what do you think about the alien Bigfoot connection?
Anybody,
jump in.
There's some potential to it, methinks. Especially after the last one I went on.
Okay, so now let's go to that. That you guys were doing an investigation or a, what do you call it? Expedition. And you guys are out there and you, Josie, were looking around and something caught your eye. What did you see?
Well, the rest of the gals, they were messing with the cameras, and what was the other thing you were using, Steph?
It was the infrared camera, the monocular, which we didn't really know how to use yet, and so I was messing with that. So I was not looking up in the sky like you were, Josie.
Yeah, and like you were talking earlier, how we need kind of a spotter of the group. Well, I'm unofficially kind of that of the group because I'm always looking everywhere and keeping an eye out for things. Well, it's really, really dark out in the boonies, especially when you're on, an old forestry road. No moon out, nothing. You can see the Milky Way galaxy clear up in the sky. It was looking gorgeous. So I was just looking up, admiring it, because, in the middle of town, you can't see that. So I was just looking up at that, appreciating it, and I see 2 or 3 little lights up in the sky, and they start moving. And I'm like, that's weird. Usually airplane lights, you'll see flicker, and they'll have like a red or blue wing light on. And I'm like, there's no wing light. And then I start seeing them do these weird little maneuvers, like they're doing weird little acrobatic flips and all that around each other. And then they'll disappear. And it's like, okay, what the hell was that?
Wow. So when you seen it and stuff like that, was it cloudy out that day, or was it just
perfectly
it was
clear? Perfectly clear sky. Like I said, you could see the Milky Way galaxy directly above us.
Wow. So that takes out anything then from somebody using like lasers.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of go back and forth.
And like I said, this is the middle of nowhere out in the woods. So the nearest town is, 30 some odd miles away where we were?
Yeah. Far. I mean, we were up there in no man's land, really. Yeah.
So there's no light pollution, nothing.
Wow. So, and, when you were watching it and stuff like that, did it give you a totally different feeling than being out there looking for Bigfoot or anything? I mean, what was your feeling going through there? Had to be a little bit of fear, maybe, possibly.
Well, it was weird because I sat there watching him for a while because they'd disappear and then I'd see him reappear in another part of the sky, and there was anywhere from 3 to 5 of them. And I sat there and pointed out to Katie, who was with us, and I'm like, hey, are you seeing this too? And she's like, well, yeah, I can see a couple of them. What the heck are they? And then she would lose them, but then I'd find them in the other part of the sky after they'd disappear. And it's like, you didn't hear anything. And, we're in the middle of the boonies. If it was an airplane, you'd hear it if it was flying. And they didn't have the wing lights like a typical airplane or helicopter would. So it's just like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Well, and Carrie, you saw it too, right?
Well, yeah, kind of. Josie was showing me a little bit, but yeah, and then Josie started not feeling right, and then again, I felt it too, and I'm like, do you remember that, Josie?
Yeah, because after a while of watching these things, it's just like, I just got this overwhelming feeling. It's like, we shouldn't be here. We need to go. Just this overwhelming sensation. And I just couldn't explain it. It's like, we need to get in the car. We need to go right now. We need to go. We need to go. It's just like, I don't.
Yeah, I remember that. And I kind of got that feeling after she was saying that too. And yeah, I remember that very well.
You were freaked out. And I always say we always listen to each other's intuition. And so pack up, got in the car, left, But Josie, the other thing that you said that you saw was kind of like grid lines or something too up in the sky, remember?
Yeah. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I thought that was just fascinating what you were saying about that. So tell everyone what you saw with these lines.
The only way I can think of describing it, everybody's familiar with the concept of ley lines, right?
Mhm.
It was like I was seeing ley lines overlaid across the sky. It's like they were corresponding with where they were on Earth. It was weird because it was like these silvery lines crisscrossing across the sky.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In this weird intertwined matrix thing. And just this weird sensation I got. It's like they were ley lines superimposed up above the sky where they corresponded on Earth. And that's the only way I can think of describing it, because it was just weird.
Yeah, and you were freaked out, and I have never heard anybody talk about the lines like that, and I should have looked up, but I was too busy with that darn camera. Next time, believe me, I'm going to look up.
Well, it's weird is that, I know that feeling of what you're talking about, because I remember when I was a kid, we spent every day out in the woods. We were always out there, looking for stuff. We really didn't look for Bigfoot, but we did look for gnomes. We did look for little people. We looked for stuff like that when I was a kid. And none of that stuff really even scared me. The bears did and stuff like that. But, we brought, my grandfather had my little backpack filled with peanut butter and also filled with jerky. Jerky was for the wolves if they come around, and peanut butter was for bears. You would just take the top off and roll it at them, and they're going to smell that and go for that, and not you. So it's I don't know if that stuff's real, if that really happens, where they would stop and do that, but that's what my grandfather kind of taught me. But anyway, seeing UFO the first time, me and the neighbor kid, Phil Holt. I mean, not for the first time. The first time when we've been out in the woods like that we seen it at 1 o'clock in the morning and stuff on a early Saturday morning, and watching it, kind of go. And I remember it was red. It came down. It was like maybe 2 miles away from us. It was pretty much over Lake Bemidji, and then all of a sudden it just went up across and then flew straight up, and it was gone. And that does give you a different type of fear of the woods. It just makes you want to get the hell out of there, And so no, I can definitely say that is something totally different. And being a paranormal investigator nowadays, it took a lot of guts, I would think, right now for you to even say that you were scared of that, Josie, because, a lot of paranormal investigators are like, that's what you do.
I don't know if she was scared of them as much as something in her intuition was telling her it's time for us to leave. We're not supposed to be here right now.
Right. But there was still fear in her voice when she was talking about it. So I'm not saying you're chicken or nothing.
No.
I'm just saying is that I know the fear.
Yeah.
Fear. So, Karen's saying that fear can be experienced physically and not mentally. It can also be felt mentally. Because if you have your sights are up and your how would you say it?
Like your spidey senses?
Your your spidey tingle is going off and stuff like that. That can bring you some fear to that. Mm-hmm. Like Walcott did for me. All those years later, I'm still a little bit nervous about that and stuff. Kat's saying, what if all bears like what if not all bears like peanut butter? Some prefer sardines. Well, sardines would attract them. Peanut butter, once you take the lid off, then you can smell it. So, that's just the way it is, Cat. Jeez.
Or you could have been the bait because he had it in your backpack.
That's right.
That's
right.
true.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's true. I never thought, maybe Grandpa was trying to get rid of me. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
The
can
gnome
I
or the bear.
can I ask a question to
Sure
Josie?
you can. Yep.
Josie, so did you see these, like the ball of lights? Were they like just going? Could you see like tails, or were they just all of a sudden there and then all of a sudden they disappear? And were the lights with them? The grid lights.
They were like individual lights, and it's like if you weren't paying close enough attention, you'd mistake them for stars, but they were moving.
Okay.
And that's how I noticed them, and it's like, wait, those aren't stars. What are those?
Were they in unison? Like going the same
they
direction?
were moving in unison, but like I said, they were doing acrobatics, so they were weaving around each other, but they were always in sync in a way.
Right. They've seen that. They've seen lights like that, like in Spain or somewhere like in other countries. So that's what intrigues me about what you've seen. So go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
Did they just take off back up, or how did they leave when they left?
They would just blink out and disappear.
Wow.
Okay.
So it sounds almost like interdimensional popping in and popping out.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. Well, there's other things they say, too, that it could have been when they were coming through the atmosphere on how, it's intensive heat. So the glow from that, and then if they're leaving back out or they're completely out of it, it could cool down fast. Space, it would cool down faster than being within the atmosphere of the world. So,
well, as you know, there's a lot of weird things that happens up in northern Minnesota. And almost always when we hear stories from eyewitnesses of Bigfoot, there's always something. They've always had UFO experiences as well. And Karen is saying that she's seen that kind of thing up there as well. Now, when we were up there a month ago, so we were in virtually the same spot, Josie, as we were the last time. It was totally different feeling, totally different scenario. It was quiet. We could have fallen asleep. Really, there was nothing going on. We sat there and looked at the sky because I was hoping to see what you saw. We saw nothing that we couldn't explain, So it was that night. Something was going on that particular night. Like I said, I kicked myself all the time thinking, geez, I should have looked up when you were talking about this, but I was so ingrained in this camera, but what a cool thing that you guys saw.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, now the new camera you guys got, that's going to be even easier to use and be able to pick up things like that even faster.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty incredible.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, this is neat. This is really cool. I mean, just out of curiosity, Josie, when you go up there, since you're a paranormal investigator, do you bring like K2 meters and EMF detectors and stuff like that with you?
I did. Actually, when we were getting to the spot where I had that sighting, I had my full spectrum camera on. Remember this?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And this has never happened with this particular camera before, because before the trip and everything, all the batteries were fully charged. I checked it before we went out that night. I turned it on. I didn't even go full spectrum. I only had it on IR setting. The battery drained in under 7 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just before I had that sighting. This has never happened before with this camera. And usually with this particular camera, the battery will last upwards of 45 minutes to an hour in full spectrum mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you saying that. It was like just you had barely turned it on because we were kind of like searching around with it. And then you said, oh my God, the battery's gone, So
Did
Yep.
you happen to have it on at all when you had it there? You had it on recording?
I had it recording while we were in the car getting up to the spot where we stopped. So it was like a couple minutes before we stopped. And it was like 2 minutes before we actually stopped the car and got out. But yeah, the battery drained in under 7 minutes. And it has never done that before.
No.
Did you
No.
ever go through the evidence on there just to listen for any kind of popping or grinding or anything like that?
I did what I could with it, and I couldn't find anything.
Okay.
Craziness.
Weird, because usually, like I've noticed on some of the cameras that I have, when we've gone places and all of a sudden, I mean, that are extremely paranormally active, that when a camera or video or even my body cam, when it zaps like immediately, there's always some very strange hum or something like that that is also on there, that it records that before it dies out. And that's very unusual because, I mean, you could take it and I could set it in the apartment here and just let it film. And then when it gets to the end and the battery goes dead on it and stuff, you go to there's nothing there. But sometimes in places that you go that is paranormally active, you can actually catch the buzzing or whatever is stealing the life out of the battery. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there still could be, a lot of people think that even when you're out the woods and stuff like that, it's not paranormal. It could be. You could have run into a spot that's paranormal or a spirit or something that's, out haunting the woods or whatever. And, they're going to take whatever energy they can possibly get.
Yep.
True enough. Yeah.
Yep.
For
So
sure.
when your curly hair goes flat,
Yeah.
something's
Then we
up.
know something's going on.
Let's see. Willow, go ahead. I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, no, I was interested. I was listening. I am fascinated by your experience with UFOs. Have you ever thought about trying to actually communicate with them? Like using a laser or something like that? Because I know that that's a really good way to get them to come in and communicate with you. And that way they know that you're not hostile, but you're interested in communication.
Who are you talking to?
Josie, because she's like looking very scared right at the moment.
Yeah. No, that's a little beyond what I'd be comfortable with.
What about you, Steph? Would you do it?
I would do it. I would do it.
Well, as a matter of fact, we did do it, Steph. A while back, a place in Wisconsin, and I brought out, I made some infrared lighting and high-beamed flashlights and also lasers and everything, and grouped them together and had them up in the sky for as long as the batteries would go. The only thing we seen at that time, and this was a place that actually had a trifecta going. There was ghosts in the house they felt was haunted. They did see Bigfoot, and the UFO that
Where was
reported
this?
there.
Was I there?
Yeah, you were there in
Oh,
Elmwood.
it was Elmwood. Oh, yeah.
Where the UFO actually came over a hill
Yes.
and into the valley. And that is recorded from some guy there. I mean, not recorded as you can see it, but he was a little kid when all this happened, especially when they seen Bigfoot, too. They were bow hunting when he seen Bigfoot. And so we did check it out. Now, one thing that I did see when I stopped there one day is that there's this little creek and something on 2 feet with kind of brownish hair and more of a curved back. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was on 2 feet, and it ran past the creek and into the woods, lickety split. I only got a very quick glance of it. And that's, I don't even know what I can tell you what it is. There's no way it was a bear, though. It was kind of hunched, but it was on 2 feet. A bear wouldn't be hunched over and running.
Well, I think it's very squatchy down there, and even the Langer land down there has the river running through it. And I know we're going to be going down there soon, I hope, to check that out, because now it's not so the foliage will be dead and it'll be easy to get into. And I think we're just going to go sit on the banks of the river there and see what we find.
The O'Galley. Yep,
yes.
The O'Galley. Well, when I had talked about it just with some people, they actually claimed that the O'Galley right around that area was Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
As a possible Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what I had seen. I'm not going to say it was Dogman or Bigfoot. I'm just going to tell you it wasn't a bear, no possible way, and it wasn't a person, because that was really thick woods if they were going to run through. And that's a lot of the videos that are out there and stuff like that. I don't believe in some of the videos that are out there because of, a lot of this stuff can be debunked so easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Carrie, have you ever seen some videos that you're like, geez, I don't know if I believe that too much? Carrie? She fell asleep.
Did we lose her? Carrie, are you there? Maybe we lost her.
No, she's still there. I think she's on mute.
Oh, maybe.
Or she had to go potty.
I don't know.
So anyway, well, this was great, ladies. We appreciate you three coming on. This is
we can hear you.
Yes. You still there?
Oh, here. Sorry.
There you are.
I couldn't get it to unmute. Yes, I've seen bogus videos, totally. But there's a lot of real stuff out there. I have a pretty good eye for structures. And Stephanie, by the way, I have a lot of pictures for you.
Good.
But yeah, you can tell though, like I say to Steph all the time, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Real structures to not real structures, or, was it natural, wind blown, what? It's pretty easy once you do it a lot to tell the difference.
Yeah.
But yes, I've seen a lot of bogus videos.
Oh, there's tons of them. Okay, well, thank you, SquatchHERs. We appreciate you coming on. That's awesome. We're getting near the end of the show. And so next week, you guys, we have the first show of every 2 months. Valentina Lomborg Wiley will be coming on and taking over half the show for 25 minutes, and it's going to be the premiere of the universe according to V. And right now, V also needs a little bit of your help, because if anybody can send up some good vibes, she's in the hospital. She's got some stuff going on. I'm not going to say. She'll probably talk about it next week. And so let's everybody tune in for that, because that should be a very, very good show. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then the week after next, I do believe, is Halloween, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, we had a guest lined up and they were backed out. So we are going to have some fun, us three. It's going to be Jerry and the Angels on.
I think Willow should do some readings.
She may. As a matter of fact, we might surprise you.
Maybe it can
We're
be
not going to
Willow's.
say nothing yet. We're going to see what happens with a certain person that she's going to be trying to communicate with, that's actually been dead for a very, very long time. So this could be pretty cool. That was some weird music coming from outside. That was really strange. You guys didn't hear that?
I did.
Did you? I think it was outside.
Unless it was weird.
That was very strange. Anyway, well, we thank you all for listening, and Para X, thank you. Sarge, you're the bomb. We appreciate you so much. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here, to be honest. So thank you. And everybody have a great week, and stay tuned for Geeks Paranormal. And for the troops listening, we appreciate you too. And everybody have a good, safe week, and we'll talk to you next week.